Greetings, student nurses of Rhode Island. My name is Kelly Hunt, and from 2014 to 2015, I served as the National Student Nurses Association president. Since completing my term as president, I have graduated from the University of North Florida with my BSN, and I have returned home to Southern Orange County, California, where I am currently working at Mission Hospital in Mission Viejo as a registered nurse on a cardiac telemetry floor. So being a new graduate has definitely been challenging, but it's also been very rewarding. I continue to learn every single day, and that's really all you can do is just keep swimming. Before I get started here with bringing greetings to you all, I just want to give a big thank you to the SNARI Board of Directors for giving me the opportunity to address you today. I know that you have a lot of business and rich discussion ahead, so I am really grateful for the opportunity to speak to you all this morning. Last October, I had the opportunity to travel to Rhode Island to serve as the ANA Rhode Island keynote speaker. And it was my first time in Rhode Island in Providence, and it was beautiful and just what a fantastic experience. A huge shout out and a big thank you to Donna Policastro, ANA Rhode Island Executive Director, for being such a wonderful hostess. It was just the most incredible time. I truly enjoyed connecting with student nurses and nurses from Rhode Island. You all are definitely passionate and driven and dedicated, and it was the highlight for the trip, just being able to engage with you all. So I hear that the theme of your convention is a healthy nurses concept. And I think that's just absolutely fantastic. You know, as nurses, we spend our time taking care of others. So in order to be able to do so, we need to be able to take care of ourselves. So I'm all about being healthy and finding that balance, you know, between working and family and life, and making sure you find time for yourself, because that's super important. So I truly do love the theme of your convention. I know as a state association, you all have been working on a couple different things. You have an autism walk coming up in April. That's very exciting. And I also heard that you all were working on revamping your bylaws. Your board of directors are working on that. And I was really thrilled to hear that, because you know, the bylaws of your association, it's your structure, that's your foundation. And so it's just really important to make sure that you maintain your autonomy and your focus, you know, that your bylaws are up to date and they're also to protect you. So I was just really thrilled to hear that you guys were working on that, because it's very, very, very important to a student nursing association. You have a lot of support out there. The National Student Nurses Association website has a lot of different references for you all. Whether it's about bylaws or not, maybe you're wondering about a resolution or anything at all, the website is really helpful. And also the NSNA Board of Directors, you know, they each get assigned to a state, so you have someone that you can reach out to if there's anything else that you need help with. So lots of resources out there for you, and don't be shy. You know, everyone is definitely willing to help out. So during my NSNA presidency, I focused on a couple different things, and after delivering my message to you today, my goal is really for you to just feel empowered for whatever it is that you want to do. Maybe you want to pursue leadership in the future. Maybe you'd like to publish research, you know, anything and everything. The sky is the limit, right? I just really want you to truly feel empowered, inspired, and motivated, because those are the types of nurses that we need. During my presidency, I focused a lot on servant leadership, effective communication, and interprofessional collaboration. Those, I think, were the three highlights for me in working with my board of directors and also students from other organizations in healthcare. First, we can talk about servant leadership really quickly. Your board of directors has a list of my publications and podcasts, and I recently just wrote an article for NSNA's Imprint magazine. It's the full deal with references and all on page 30 of Imprint. So they have access because I'm not going to go too deep into it, but if you're interested in servant leadership, you can definitely look that up and read the full article. But servant leadership is a concept that was devised by Alan Greenleaf. I think it was back in the 60s, a couple decades ago, that focuses on 10 key principles that just helps you to be a good leader. You know, the whole concept of servant leadership is in order to lead, we must first serve. We must serve the people that we're leading. And it may sound really simple, but it's not always the case. You know, sometimes people use intimidation techniques. Sometimes we don't use any techniques and we just roll with the punches and roll along each day. But servant leadership is the complete opposite of that. Again, these 10 key principles, you know, a couple of them are empathy, listening. I don't like to say just listening, but active listening, commitment to the growth of people, you know, developing your employees and nurses for the future, community involvement, stewardship, conceptualization. These are just a few of the key principles. And really all it is it's telling you, I learned about it first at Starbucks because I worked there for 10 years, and they really wanted us to practice servant leadership in our management styles because it's all about inspiring and motivating people to want to work towards accomplishing a common goal. Again, those other techniques, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of nurses eating their young. And I firmly believe if we practice servant leadership a little bit more, maybe that phrase could be eradicated in the future. We don't need it. We need to be supporting each other, empowering each other. That's really what it's all about. This is why nursing is the #1 most ethical profession. So to me, servant leadership and nursing, it just seems kind of natural that they go hand in hand. And I use the concept to guide me not only in my professional life, but also in my personal life. So hopefully some of you will enjoy discussing that and looking into servant leadership a little bit more. Effective communication is always really, really important. Sometimes I think I over communicate because things can get missed. And so I just think it's really important to make sure you're practicing effective communication and responding to people on time and being respectful. And I also talked a little bit about interprofessional collaboration. And again, your board of directors has access to an article that I wrote on that because when you get into the hospital and you start practicing, it is a whirlwind. And even though you get a little taste in nursing school, it's really different when you start practicing on your own and you start to see the level of multitasking that occurs on the floor between doctors, nurses, physical therapy, occupational therapy, case management, nutrition, pharmacy. I mean, it's really just kind of like a beautiful dance when it all works together. But interprofessional collaboration, you know, it's simply just a collaborative approach from all of the different disciplinaries. Everyone just working together with effective communication and conflict resolution and being respectful of each other. And when everyone is just feeling like they have a seat at the table and they are all feeling like they have the ability to have input, you know, to positively affect patient care, it's just a good environment, there are better patient outcomes. It's really not a difficult concept. You know, this is published by the Institute of Medicine and a lot of other different big organizations that like to talk about interprofessional collaboration. But sometimes, you know, when you're working in healthcare, it can become a turf war. And we don't need that. We just need everyone to be respectful and working together. And it truly is the future of healthcare. I personally believe, you know, we're going to start seeing a lot more of these models in the future. So those were a couple things that I focused on a lot during my presidency. And During the presidency, I was in a traditional nursing program, which I'm sure many of you know. It's very intense, and at first, I really didn't think I could do it. You know, I thought to myself, this is just going to be too much. Nursing school is hard enough. There's just no way that I can do both. And after receiving a lot of support and encouragement, not only from a couple of my close friends in nursing school, but my director and, a couple of my professors, I decided to go for it. And, I survived the year. I felt like I made a positive impact on my delegation, and my board of directors and I worked very hard. But the moral of the story of me telling you this is that leadership is not easy. It's actually very hard. It takes a servant leader to be in a leadership position because it's work. It's a lot of hard work. You may lose some hours of sleep, but at the end of the day, you're doing something to further the nursing profession. It's bigger than you. And so if you feel as you're doing it more as, in service to the profession, to your patients, and to your fellow nurses, then it won't feel so much like work. But, leadership is not easy. You need lots of support. You need to find balance, but your leadership is needed. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Rhode Island should be represented, at NSNA functions and conventions. So any and everything that I can do and say to, get you all involved and let you know that you have support. You don't have to be a big state, to get involved. It's just very important. I just personally believe that we can never have enough leaders. We need more and more. So I just want you to feel empowered. And even though it's hard, trust me, you can do it. You can do it. Sometimes it feels like you can't do it, but you can. You can. Many others before you have done it, many after you will do it, and you can. In those moments of doubt, if you're thinking about pursuing a leadership position, surround yourself with really good people that will encourage you and that will be there for you. But it is possible and it's doable. So I empower you to get involved either as a student or in your professional organizations after graduation. Currently, right now, I belong to the American Nurses Association, Sigma Theta Tau International, and also the American Association of Critical Care Nurses. So it's really important just to be a leader and get involved. You can do it. Last but not least, I want to talk to you about advocacy. I know that that's something that Donna is very passionate about. She's a regular name up at the Capitol there in Providence, but advocacy is really, really important for our profession, and it's not something that I think, we might touch on it in nursing school, but sometimes we don't always get how it's relevant, how it maybe pertains to us. Well, there are federal laws, there are state laws, and all these different components. It can become overwhelming. But if you get connected with your professional association, which is ANA Rhode Island, I believe that they can serve as a huge asset to your Student Nurses Association. They're very big on advocacy, and just there are a lot of things going on with nursing right now. It's a very exciting time. I mean, I believe right now half of the country, the advanced practice nurses basically have full autonomy, and then there are a lot of other states that are still in the red, and we need advanced practice nurses. I think it was HRSA that stated by 2020 we're going to be short about 20,400 physicians. So they're going to be looking to nurse practitioners and PAs to fill those spots because of the baby boomers and the Affordable Care Act and all of these other things that are influencing healthcare. And guess what? If they're going to be leaning on nurse practitioners, we need that autonomy, So it's just really, that's just one example of, how important advocating for our profession is, whether you're doing it on a state level or as a student nurse or as a registered nurse in Washington, D.C. Get involved and lean on ANA Rhode Island. Very, very knowledgeable nurses that want to mentor you and want to help you, become familiar with all of these different ways that you can get involved in the nursing profession. So those are pretty much my tips for you. Servant leadership, conflict resolution, interdisciplinary collaboration, advocacy, partnering, working together with ANA Rhode Island, and being leaders. Get involved, seek out positions. Being a new graduate, it's going to be a completely different playing field for you. And I had a really hard time when I moved back. I went to school in Florida and I came back home to California. I left all things nursing in Florida and came to a new state with new laws, and I found some other new grads. I'm still kind of working with ANA California. I still don't know how to find other new grads that belong to ANA, and I'm working on that. But establish a good support system. Find people that you can lean on, that you can depend on, and just get inspired, get fired up. And I just truly look forward to seeing how Rhode Island Student Nurses Association, and future nurses are going to positively impact the future of nursing. I look forward to it. I'm always here to serve as a resource. Reach out to me, Facebook, email, anything that you can think of. I'm always here to answer questions along with NSNA and the board of directors. So again, thank you for this time and for the ability to address you this morning, and I just wish you all the best for your convention. Good luck to you, and I hope to connect with you soon in the future. Take care.